Hi everybody, welcome to this episode of the Lavaca County News Review podcast. Now, join your hosts, Murray and Michelle, as they bring you the news from all the newspapers in Lavaca County, Texas. Okay, Murray and Michelle, take it away.
Well, hello everybody, this is Murray back with you for this edition of the Lavaca County News Report. And we're going to be flying solo today because Michelle is out, she's feeling bad. So I'm going to be doing this alone, and so you know when I do it alone, it'll be short. Okay, we're going to start off with the Hallettsville Tribune-Herald, and we've got pictures of llamas on the front page, and they were all at the local library here in Hallettsville. And all the other news about this barnstorming thing coming to Hallettsville, a big fly-in, and that was written by Clayton Kelly, our new reporter. Story about the Praha picnic is taking place this coming Tuesday. Jimmy Apple has a story about this sales tax-free weekend coming up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Our little buddy Henry Joe Yachek has a big town chatter this week. It's so big they had to jump it to another page. So I'll just tell you need to read that and get all that information from Hank. And we're going to have the coloring contest going to be in all our papers. You'll find that. And then there's tons of other stories, school news. All the schools are cranking up. They hadn't cranked up, they're fixing to. And we've got all kind of stuff in here. As I said, the Praha picnic. And now we're down in Chuck Groff's sports section here at the Hallettsville Tribune-Herald. And he's writing about the Brahmas and the Indians, and both of those schools have got new coaches. So you need to check that out and be looking forward to the fall sports preview that's going to be coming up. I've got an article here about the Vaquero, the first Texas cowboy, and then another story about the German U-boats in the Gulf of Mexico during World War II. So some of you may have known about that, so you might want to check that story out. I enjoyed researching it. I knew a little of it from personal history. It's a good story. Not because I wrote it, it's just because of the information that's available there to you history buffs. So that's going to about wrap it up for the Hallettsville Tribune-Herald. And now we're going to jump on over to my missing co-host favorite town, Shiner. And this is the Shiner Gazette. Big picture on the front page about Casper acquiring Yoakum's Circle Y saddles. And that is a big story, and you need to check that out. It'll be probably in all our papers. And then there's a story here by Clayton Kelly about a Shiner lady that is celebrating 100 years. 100 years. What a deal. And her name is Millie Meagle, and we are so happy to be able to honor her in the paper, and we want to wish her a mighty happy birthday. Good going, Miss Meagle, and looking forward to you having many more. So that's be about it as far as news. You'll just have to go through the paper. There's local news, there's area news, and just a little bit of everything. And of course the coloring contest, as I told you before, will be in all the papers. And Mark Luby has his Shiner Sports. He's got a headline here that says Shiner picked to make it as far as regional. And the Cards are predicted to win their district. And the St. Paul Cardinals, they also have a new head coach. So we got new head coaches everywhere. And all our papers have got the football schedules for the teams in their town and their area. So you need to check that out. Mark does a good job, just like Chuck Groff, and we are happy to have him doing the sports for Shiner. And Bobby Hariska, managing editor, has written a second part of his Gone West story about one of the founder of Sweet Home, George West. So that's an interesting story that you probably want to read. And that's probably going to be everything for Shiner. We want to thank all our advertisers for supporting our papers. We really are honored to have you here, and that includes Patex over here in Shiner. So with that, we're going to close. We're going to jump on over to the Yoakum Herald-Times, and the front page story there is again about Casper companies acquiring Yoakum Circle Y saddles. And it has a story there and a picture about with all the people that are involved. And that's big news, folks. It really is. So you'll want to read that. We're going to scroll down. We're looking at this electronically like always, praying that the internet don't go out on us. So the rest of this thing is sports. Yoakum volleyball is getting ready to start up, and it's just pretty much all about sports. So you just need to read it. Big story here on page 5 of the Yoakum Herald-Times about the bands and all, and the support groups for the football team. Headline says that football games halftime is our time. And that's for real, friends. These kids work hard. They work as hard as these football players, so you need to check them out, honor them for what they do. So we're going to go on. It's pretty much like I told you before. There's articles in all the papers. Here's one about saving water, which we really need during these drought times. And Yoakum ISD is welcoming new teachers, and there's a big picture of the new teachers there. So you need to check that out. We appreciate Makers also advertising with us and the High Hill Distillery. We appreciate all of you, and thanks a bunch. Without you, we wouldn't get a paycheck. And we need a paycheck, just like everybody else. I don't know, friends, with this heat coming on, or that's here, rather, I think I spend a lot of my paycheck goes to water. And, of course, electric bills. Lord have mercy. I don't look forward to the next one. And from what I saw in the weather forecast, we're looking at another 10 straight days of 100-plus temperatures. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm looking forward to winter, even though now the Farmer's Almanac's telling us that we're going to have as bad a winter as we've had a summer. And life goes on. With that being said, let's jump on over to our cleanup batter, as my former co-host Hans used to call, the Molten Eagle. And the front page of the Molten Eagle has a story about the PTO gearing up for a new year. Bobby Hariska, our managing editor, has a story about the corn harvest being one of the best in years. He also has another story about the Jamboree Pie auction. It shattered records from previous years. So that'll be an interesting story for you folks to read, especially those of you in Moulton that did know about this. The winning pie sold for $5,000. Man, oh man, I bet that was a tasty, tasty pie. And we have a story here about the outstanding junior and teen leaders of 4-H in the county. And on page 3, we have a bunch of pictures of the Jamboree Barbecue Cook-Off winners. So you need to check that out. And as I told you before, coloring contest in this paper as well. And another story about the Casper purchasing the Circle Y. And my German U-boat story is also in the Molten Eagle. And then on the back page, we have pictures of the winning pies, first, second, and third place. And we have a story about the Nevludes over in Shiner that have Maker sausage, and they've won a bunch of prizes and awards from the Texas Association of Meat Producers and the Southwest Meat Association. And they are honored for those awards, and they are well-deserved, friends. Well-deserved. So, I tell you what, that's going to wrap up Moulton. I hope that Michelle gets over what ails her and gets back here with me next week where we can have a little more in-depth reporting. But that's going to be all for this time, friends. I'm happy that you took time out of your day to join us. I hope you'll share this. And in the meantime, get out and support your local football teams and your bands. And there's a whole bunch of them to list, and volleyball, you name it. But anyway, that's it, folks. That's all from me. And we'll see you on down the road. Goodbye, everybody.